Welcome to the video on my ride. Going out today for a bit of an experiment. I've got my 360 camera on the front of the bike. Here we go. I've got my 360 camera on the bike today because it's a bit of an experiment, because a couple of months ago there was a pickup truck that came behind me, overtook me and slammed on the brakes for no apparent reason. And I've got a video camera on the back of the bike, and I thought I'd have one in the front as well. But I thought today what I'll do while I'm riding is just talk a little bit about how I ride. 3 years ago I had an accident, and I'm going to ride past the scene and talk a little bit about what the accident did for my kind of road sense. Okay. So I'm riding down this hill, avoiding potholes. Roads are really quiet at the moment. It's mid-afternoon. Big dusty pothole on the right-hand side there. So the road surface is a bit rough. Quite a steep hill, but it's flattening out now, and it rises just a little. And there are some speed bumps here, and I keep to my left. Now this is a bit of a black spot here because there's another speed bump and a bridge, and there's cars or traffic comes the other way across this bridge, and I was hit right here. It's strange, woman walking up the road when there's a footbridge. So yeah, I was hit there, and I was hospitalised, multiple injuries, and I think in the next few months the injury claim, because the liability was admitted by the driver and her insurance company, and I think that's going to settle within the next 2 or 3 months. Will allow me to buy a few records, I think, as compensation. So in terms of my road positioning, I normally ride between 2 and 3 feet of the curb. I think it's what's called the secondary position. But I sometimes take the primary position, which is right in the middle of the lane when there's traffic furniture. So I'm in the middle of the lane now. There's no opportunity for anyone to pass me. So I'm just staking my claim on this middle of the lane primary position. Once I'm across the lights, I move back into the secondary position, giving any drivers behind an opportunity to pass. And there is a car behind. So I think that driver is about to overtake me now. So I think it's important when you're riding that you ride assertively, and I'll make a clear distinction between riding assertively and riding like an arsehole, an arrogant one. I think riding assertively is about making it clear to other road users what you intend to do. So there's no surprises. There's nothing worse when you're driving to see a cyclist or indeed another driver moving along hesitantly, unclear about what they're going to do next. So I'm always looking around. I also have a radar camera and light combination on the back, the Garmin Varia, and that's intended to give me early warning. But I'm always looking around and thinking, how can I de-risk this next phase of my ride, for me and for any drivers that may be behind me. Now this section of road is particularly difficult because it's full of really nasty potholes. So I have to move into the primary position to avoid them. The radar's telling me there's nothing behind, but I still check by looking over my shoulder. I'm going to be going right to this junction, so I'm ready to move over and I'm signalling, making it nice and clear. So riding arrogantly would be having disregard for other road users, or having the mistaken belief that you're indestructible and that it's only you who matters. And this is where one of my pet hates, and I see this on video all the time, particularly on video clips from London, where you've got cyclists going through red lights simply because they're so determined to get to where they want to go. They don't realise, or they don't care about the stress they're putting other road users under. They're trying to make manoeuvres while trying to second guess what that nutter on a bike will do. So I always stop at red lights. So even on an empty road, I'm still going to keep to the left, 2 or 3 feet from the curb. And if I haven't already said it, which I think I have, excuse me, I pull out when there's potholes. But even then I do my best to be as aware as I can be about other road users. When you're driving, they talk about a mirror signal maneuver. So right now, I'm about to turn right. So I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm checking my Garmin to see whether I've got a radar signal of any car or other vehicle behind, and then I'm signaling, and then I'm maneuvering round the corner. I hear people complain a lot about cyclists riding in groups, oblivious to other traffic. I was just watching a clip yesterday of a group that was meandering through a suburban or urban environment, queue of cars behind. There were 3 abreast at times, all over the road, no formation. And then they, just like those cyclists who go through red lights, give the rest of us cyclists a bad name. So I ride in groups, and we got pretty good discipline. We ride 2 abreast where the circumstances allow. So here we'd be riding 2 abreast, but then going single file as we pass this stationary vehicle, getting back to the left hand side, and then if we want to, because the road in this case is wide enough, it's the right two abreast again. Do the right two abreast mainly because it allows cars behind a shorter distance in which to overtake. So if we're all strung out single file, it's really hard for drivers to get past us. As it happens, I don't mind riding single file at all. So I'm pulling out a little bit here because there's some nasty potholes yet to be repaired. The story of our life here in North Birmingham. Also, when I ride in groups, we do a lot of talking and a lot of shouting, a lot of alerting each other to traffic. So if there's a car coming in the opposite direction, we say car down, which kind of signals car down the road, keep left, keep right in the States or the continent if you're cycling there. If there's a car coming behind, you say car up, like car up the back. And that way allows people to stay concentrated and to double check their road position and make sure that they don't cause any unnecessary risks for ourselves as cyclists or the drivers. Approaching a humpback bridge here, keeping left just because I can't see what's coming. When I approach a junction like this one, there isn't anybody behind me right now, but if there was, my position at the junction would either, well, firstly it would reflect which direction I was going in, whether I was turning left or right. But if I'm turning right and it's not so busy and there's a car behind me who's also turning right, what I will do is move to the centre to allow the driver to get out at the junction if they're able to more quickly than I can. So I kind of allow them to approach the actual junction itself, and I wait for when it's safe for me to pass. Now here we've got a car coming down one way, basically only one way available. Didn't seem to give a damn about how close he was going to get to me. Anyway, as part of riding a bike, part of driving, you kind of have to hope, or as someone said, you plan for the worst and hope for the best. And for planning for the worst, what I mean by that is that you assume that someone's going to do something silly. I'm pretty much in the primary position here because it's a very quiet road. And I'm approaching a bend, and it's nice to be in the primary position because it stops. It discourages drivers behind from risking an overtake on a bend. It also means, just in case around the corner there's a parked car, you're in a good position to take avoiding action. Taking the primary position again on the bend and moving to the left and round it. Busy roundabout this one, so I've got to be extra careful. So I'm going to stop almost certain. Yeah, so I came out of nowhere there. Oh, I might get away. There we go, I'm away. I'm watching for vehicles from the left. I'm trying to be pleasant as well. Someone stops, looks at me, I give them a smile and an acknowledgement that they stopped and they followed the rules of the road. I'm on a cycle path now. No point in battling the big lorries that come down here into this trading estate. On my left here, that works for the high-speed rail 2, HS2, which I'm still hoping is going to be cancelled, even though they spent about 8 billion so far. But I reckon the budget's been completely smashed. The completion of HS2 is likely to be closer to 150 billion. And the sunk cost of 8 billion so far, in my judgment, is expendable. We can spend that other 100 and odd billion on much more useful projects than this one. Bit of politics there. I'm going to stop here because I'm not sure that any traffic is going to be turning left. Yeah, and there it is. There's a van stopping, so I did the right thing. There's a van. One of the bugbears that drivers report, and as a driver myself, I do the same, I feel the same. You feel the frustration when you're driving behind a line of slow-moving cyclists, or even a single cyclist like me today, and you're kind of itching to get past. And as a driver, even though I feel the frustration, I am pretty patient these days. However, when I'm in the saddle, I don't know whether it's a sixth sense or not, but you can kind of almost tell the revving of the car behind and the van behind, whether someone's itching to get past. And so what I will do, two things. When it's safe to let them pass, I will absolutely keep to the left. If it's a large vehicle, and it's safe to do so, sometimes I briefly hop onto the pavement to let them pass before jumping back on the road and going my way. However, in recognising the frustration of the drivers behind, I almost always, when someone is patient, I acknowledge them, raise a hand, thanks, as they pass, just to acknowledge that I was aware of them, that I appreciate their patience, and that we can both go on our way safely. And I tell myself that even though on that particular occasion we both got off without a problem, I'm hoping that because I've kind of acknowledged the driver will have a heightened awareness next time they come across a cyclist. And you never know, acknowledging patience from drivers when you're holding them up just might save another cyclist or a pedestrian's life a mile or two down the road or on another day. There's a car behind. It's waiting for me. Or she's waiting for me. Just acknowledge their patience. And you know, 999 drivers out of 100, out of 1,000 or 99 out of 100, some statistic in between. Drivers are absolutely fine. They give you space, give you a reasonable amount of courtesy, and they're reliable road users. But it only takes one person in a mad dash or having a bad day or on their phone or not concentrating for some other reason, and I can put somebody in a coffin or a hospital or spray it across the tarmac. So you've got to kind of assume that drivers on the road could be that 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000. And hope that they're going to be just as careful of road users you hope that you are as well. Remember, if you're a driver, what cyclists have to do when they approach a parked car, stay out of the door zone so they don't get hit by somebody opening the door without looking. A couple of good drivers there. Gave me plenty of space. I'm riding my e-bike today, and it's gives you no assistance above 16 miles an hour or so on the flat, so it's really hard going. Bit of a breeze, bit of a headwind I'm facing here as well. We've got a bit of northwesterly today. Coming to some traffic lights here for a bridge, single lane bridge. There you go, it's on red. Hopefully the sensor will pick me up before I have to come to a complete halt. No. Last year on this bridge I was coming across on Saturday afternoon, and a car coming in the opposite direction came straight through a red light, missed me by a couple of inches, and I got over the other side. I was coming in this opposite direction as from today, and there was a young woman crying by the side of the road, looking at her bashed in car. This car had come screaming around the corner, hit her, went straight through a red light and almost put me in the reservoir or against the barrier, so, or worse. So I'm pretty cautious when it comes to that bridge. In fact, I'm a pretty cautious rider anyway. Partly because my speedy days, of which there were few, are long behind me. Car coming up behind. Gonna make sure I keep left on this bend. Plenty of room to overtake, even though there's a car coming the opposite direction. Taking the primary position again, just in case anybody behind me was tempted to overtake. As it happens, there's no one behind me at the moment. So I'm back in secondary now. there's a warning, a car is approaching from behind. So what I sometimes do, when a car's getting ready to the front, I will look over my shoulder, so the driver is in my face, so registers that not just some Power Ranger in Lycra, I'm a human being, but apparently there's the team done, where drivers really do have different perceptions of people, depending on whether they're wearing Lycra or whether they're wearing a helmet or not, and they tend to be more careful themselves when approaching cyclists who look more vulnerable. Go figure. Well, the English Premier League football season begins this weekend, and my team, Newcastle United, is playing Aston Villa, and I'm riding past Aston Villa's training ground right now. Had a good season last year, did Villa. Oh, I've got right away here, but I think it's enough for both of us to get in. The Aston Villa had a good season, but not as good as Newcastle. So I might sneak in, drop a bit of laxative in their water supply ahead of the match. I'll just see if I can find a way through the fence. This video gets posted, and Villa get a drubbing on Saturday. Don't blame me. So even on a single track road, I'm keeping left here. Speed up. Playing the percentages, I guess. It's just habit. I was all over this road here. I just might, in a moment of lost concentration, then end up drifting all over a main road with a lot more traffic, a lot more danger. So good habits, pretty essential. So I think this is Middleton Hall I'm approaching here. Famous old house, famous in the local area anyway. So a bit of off-roading here. Needs a bit of resurfacing. Sometimes when you're on a narrow road like this, although these are the grounds of the hall, this was a country lane, and there's a tractor or a farm vehicle of some sort behind you. It's no bother just to pull over and let them pass. These guys and gals are working. You're probably on a leisure ride, so what if you lose it? 30 seconds. Unless you're chasing personal records in terms of speed, why wouldn't you stop? That way you get a chance to ride the following day. Don't be an asshole, I think is the message. Alright, let's get across this fast road here, but only halfway. There we go. Right, heading back towards home now. How can you tell? Got a headwind. forward in the winter. So it's all concrete instead of tarmac. Lumpy as hell. I'll add is that in addition to the radar flashing light at the back on the camera, flashing lights on the front as well. So even in sunlight, daylight, flashing lights. I don't always wear high vis, but I tend to wear clothing that gets noticed. This particular top is a bit eye-catching. Although I'm not here to give fashion tips. See there, I just kept left. Good decision. I've been drifting into the middle of the road. I got myself a little bit of a shock as those cars came down. It's all about enjoying the ride and making sure that you live to ride another day. Anyway, that's enough of me giving cycling and driving tips, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.